Be the Chief. Chapter 2. Balance. The good chief says, be the hardest working person in the room. The great chief says, work smarter, not harder. I have nothing against hard work. One thing I always say is when challenges come up and calories need to be spent, is that it helps to remind people that this is the U.S. Navy, and therefore going hard is authorized. That said, the old mantra that there is some sort of science equating hard work to success simply has no basis in fact. To take it one more step outside the box, I will even make the case in this section for intentionally seeking out lazy people. No, really, we're going there. But first, let's examine relationships as they pertain to balance. Ever see a junior officer working marathon days on shore duty and burning out in the process? Of course you have. Ever see the same thing happen to a chief being burned out by their JO or the LPO burned out by the chief? Of course. We all suck at this. When we burn out, we are not balanced. And typically, if one person is burned, multiple others are also feeling the effects. This is not effective leadership, and this is not balance. Balance requires synergy between chief and JO as much as between chief and LPO, and it translates over work-life balance in other areas. What does this look like? You said my duties don't appear in print. Well, let's start by examining the condensed roles and responsibilities of the LCPO, which actually do appear in print per OpNav Inst 3120.32 Delta, aka the SORN. The LCPO, or LPO, assists the division officer in administering, supervising, and training division personnel. The LCPO, or LPO, assigns division personnel to daily tasks and oversees the accomplishment of division priorities. The LCPO, or LPO, assists the division officer with preparation of watch and liberty lists, assists in training and PQS qualifications of junior personnel, and ensures divisional administration is forwarded to division officer for review and forwarding. The LCPO or LPO are accountable to the division officer for the proper operation of the 3M system within their division. If you have a new perspective after reading that, then great. If it surprised you that the LCPO and LPO have almost the exact same function, then great. The balance on that side is paramount. Remember how officers run the Navy? There it is. Now, let's read what the officers are responsible for. Again, from the SORN. Officers organize and train the department for battle readiness, including supervising the training of departmental personnel and damage control. They prepare and maintain bills and orders for the organization and operation of the department. They assign personnel to stations and duties within the department. Coordinate the department safety program with the unit safety officer and supervise the department's division safety officers. Officers also make frequent inspections of the personnel, material, and assigned spaces of the department. They ensure proper cleanliness and upkeep of department spaces. Each department head or representative inspects daily and reports the condition of the department to the XO, who then makes a similar report to the commanding officer. They control the expenditure of allotted funds and operate the department within the limit of such funds. They ensure economy in the use of public money and stores. Officers assume responsibility for the proper operation, maintenance, preservation, custody, and inventory of equipment assigned to the department. They maintain custody of keys for the departmental spaces and storerooms, except those assigned by regulations of the custody of another officer. They designate subordinates within the department to have duplicate keys. They supervise the training and professional development of junior officers assigned to the department. They develop division officers regarding morale, matters, or discipline within the department and keep the commanding officer informed of any matter adversely affecting the department, command, or naval service. They execute the maintenance and material management system or a current unit's maintenance project for the department. They oversee department administration and record review as required by other regulations and instructions. They initiate fitness reports, evaluation sheets, review periodic marks, and make recommendations to the executive officer for meritorious masts and disciplinary matters. They forward special requests to the XO with recommended action and provide justification for special privileges, including applicable comments or past conduct and performance. They also supervise the execution of PQS topics applicable to the department, qualify personnel for watch stations, and equipment or system operation and maintenance. The division officer or department head reports directly to the commanding officer for the operational readiness of the department, the general condition of the machinery and other issues affecting operational readiness, and for any other matters relating to the department which may affect the department, the command, or the Navy. The department head also reports to the XO for all administrative matters and advises the XO of direct reports to the commanding officer. If you recognized a lot of those duties as regular items for chiefs, good on you. We absolutely execute those functions and orders, but we do not forget who is ultimately responsible for those. In other words, do not make the mistake of starting a turf war between you and your department head or divo over who does what. There are times you will be paired with tough personalities and egos, and if you find yourself being combative versus educational, you might want to take a step back because your approach could become damaging for the sailors. Now, we've discussed the balance needed between you and your LPO and your officers, but what about the balance you need between you and your CMC? Let's check out the CMC's responsibilities. CMCs assist commanders and commanding officers in all matters pertaining to the warfighting readiness of the sailors, their families, and the command. This includes the welfare, health, job satisfaction, morale, utilization, and training of sailors to promote standards and maintain good order and discipline. They will advise commanders and COs on the formulation and implementation of changes in policy that affect the command. Furthermore, they will provide solicited and unsolicited advice and recommendations to the chain of command as well as to their respective ISIC. They establish and maintain conditions that ensure the unit is fully prepared for warfighting while maintaining a productive and positive command climate. They develop a CPO mess climate that develops and maintains the highest levels of material and warfighting readiness, professional excellence, and esprit de corps. They possess a detailed understanding of the different phases of the optimized fleet response plan and their role in ensuring success. They ensure a culture of excellence through the command, sharing responsibility for successful training, certification, and assignments. They promote and ensure that official ceremonies which honor sailors are embraced and properly executed. They assist in the management and delivery of proper, accurate, and timely communications throughout the command. They communicate with and support Navy families. The CMCs also maintain awareness of and assist with command programs designed to ensure a professional command culture and climate. This is an entirely different bin, right? Your CMC exists to represent you, advocate for you, mentor you, and ensure you are operating the way a chief should. The CMC is not there to operationally task you. They aren't telling you which sailor to put on your watch or telling you what you owe your department head. The CMC will, however, hold you accountable for command programs, investigate matters brought to them by your seniors or sometimes your juniors. They will convene DRB when necessary and advise the CO and XO on the next actions, and the CMC will hold you accountable for all matters of sailorization, especially when it comes to the training and development of your people in each pillar of Brilliant on the Basics. The chief is the fulcrum between the department head, division officer, LPO, and CMC. There are all sorts of boards, your midterm counseling, your goals, and all other surprises and fires that pop up requiring CMC's attention or advice. In addition, you must balance your obligation to the CPO mess. That is, you need to be present at Sailor the Quarter boards, ranking boards, CDBs, collateral duties, meetings, trainings, running Sailor 360 commitments, CPO initiation, helping out with ceremonies, attending events to help advance your rating, standing of the watch requirements, handling inspections, and, the other duties as assigned part. You also have your obligations to the CPOA you paid into. Burning burgers and selling swag, planning your khaki ball, running back and forth from the trophy store, and volunteering at the soup kitchen. Then there's, life. The life piece is tricky because work-life balance has no universal standard. I'm going to unpeel this by explaining that there is one leader I worked with who championed work-life balance above everything and yet did not come close to following it. Do as I say, not as I do, rarely translate to success in the military. That person always worked, and as a result, the leadership team rarely left the building. Again, when you weigh that against the overall output of the sacrifice, it's not even close. The good chief is a great multitasker and gets the job done, but the great chief knows how to work a successful balance. Work-life balance is not a good bumper sticker because that concept is so different for different people. A 22-year-old single sailor who signed up because their family is all Navy and all they want to do is live, breathe, and dream the ship life all day long is going to have a completely different concept of work-life balance than the 40-year-old single parent of two who is in a terminal pay grade. You can favor or argue against either of those two if you want, but facts are facts. Those two sailors are going to have entirely different and contrasting priorities within their individual decision-making processes. Now, as the chief, your job is not to accommodate either of them disproportionately. Your job is to recognize that the situation exists and to do your best to ensure your people are getting the best possible opportunities to affect their own personal balances while meeting commander's intent. Because don't forget, the chief isn't the only member of the chain here trying to balance this pie of priorities. Your LPO is, your DIVO is, your skipper is, and your newly reporting seaman is. Is keeping everyone happy always possible? You absolutely know the answer to that. But what about those who outwardly prioritize their personal pieces of the pie with very little to spend on work? What about the lazy ones even? Every situation is different and should be respected as such. But the worst thing a chief can do is put someone to the side and play the old shut up and color game. You take the lazy ones, otherwise known as the leadership challenges, and you rise up and you take the upper hand. On multiple occasions, I have taken a page out of the Bill Gates playbook and assigned lazy underperformers to high-profile jobs. Almost every time, and I do say this humbly, I have gone wrong here, the lazy sailor not only did the job but identified quicker ways to accomplish it. In one specific instance, we had a sailor who was very good as his specific skill set. He also volunteered to be placed permanently on the command's most undesirable watch, nights. He was ready to separate, and he did not want an eval higher than a P. His offer allowed the command to execute several operations that would have otherwise created substantial unnecessary human factors and additional risk in other areas. And the sailor felt like a valuable contributor by holding down that watch to free up others. Now, you can throw mud at that decision and argue from the high and mighty that the chief perspective that we're obligated to train and challenge every sailor regardless of situation. I got that. But when a sailor is carrying that highly visible mindset and game plan, and the chief decides to be stubborn and press forward, throw in countless hours down the tube of trying to change this kid's mind, your credibility's gone. The entire division sees that the chief can't see the bigger picture for the team, and it's all about that chief's ego. Work-life balance is different for everybody. Again, your goal here isn't to level the field. Your goal is to exploit it and create a positive, encouraging place to work for your folks. I'm not saying that anytime a sailor tells you they want a P to accept it and give them a P, but I'm saying it's worth a look. I got into somewhat of a debate while I was at CMC school. My personal mission statement, which I'll get into later, closes with the line, "On order, be great." Well, that rubbed one of the instructors the wrong way. That CMC felt sailors need to be great every minute and every day, and if not, they should be held accountable. And that we are tasked to strive for perfection, so giving people any sort of an out is potentially cause for trouble. Now, I do appreciate some of that perspective, but at the same time, absolutely not. Requiring people to be great every minute of every day is putting pressure on them to the highest degree and unnecessary pressure at that. I think what that instructor was trying to convey is that sailors need to meet the standard every day. And quite simply, the standard is rarely great. Sometimes, in fact, the standard officially is satisfactory. I think of this in terms of the PFA. Do we really need every sailor to weigh in at 10% body fat and post an outstanding high on their PRT? Because that would meet the mark of great. But the answer, of course, is absolutely not. What we need are chiefs who are great role models for health around the unit. We need CFLs who are great at motivating and helping people meet their goals. We need a CO to run a great command climate that allows for people to take care of themselves. None of these things require any single person to operate every single day at the level of great. Again, using myself as an example, it took me more than 10 years into the Navy to establish any type of real balance. I work out on my own every morning for 15 to 30 minutes, depending on the muscle group or the goal. And I do this because my family is still asleep, and maybe more important, I show up to work every day feeling like I already accomplished something. I started the day with a win. Part 2, every day when I drive my 25 minutes to work, I talk to my mom on the phone. This is extremely important to my mental balance and well-being. I don't watch cable news or follow pop culture or anything like that, so hearing from mom on what's going on helps me be more relatable at work. When I'm at work, most of my day currently is owned by the commanding officer's calendar. Because my job is to report solely to him and advise him, this is not an area I'm interested in disturbing. That said, every day I identify my power hours where I can just slay and get work accomplished. It might be an hour or two from 07 to 09 maybe, or it might be 15 to 16, who knows. The rest of my day is open to drive-bys and walk-ins. I realize a lot of frontline leaders hate drive-bys and walk-ins, but to me, walling yourself off goes against what we do as chiefs. We need to be mature and responsible enough to manage our schedules appropriately. When I talk about being here to truly serve, drive-bys and walk-ins are what that's all about. Once I'm home, I typically grill dinner or I'm taking my daughter to dance or piano class or something like that. When I'm home, it's all about them. It might be homework help, reading, or playing video games. And once everybody goes to sleep, I get in my 20 pages of reading, and I might do something fun for myself, like watch a hockey game, go for a walk, or play my electronic drum kit, or write song lyrics or books about chiefs, something like that. The point is, I am taking time off from being great. And if you've ever read my song lyrics, you'd endorse my point wholesale. But all that said, I am always ready to be great. My phone is on all hours. If someone needs me, I got you. There are chiefs who will argue that this 24/7 availability breaks some sort of work-life balance code or something, and I violently disagree. For one, Navy instruction says very clearly that we are all sailors 24/7. Secondly, I cannot tell you how many late night calls I've had from chiefs looking for me to save their bacon either for them or their sailor. You like it when Master Chief answers that phone call, don't you? Problem solved, crisis averted, right? Exactly. So how would you like it if you were in a spot and I told you the next day, oh yeah, I was off duty so I don't respond to work calls? That sucks, doesn't it? Again, you don't need to be great 24/7, but you need to be ready to, on order, be great, and that comes from balance. What do I mean when I say on order, be great? Well, it means when your name is called and it's time to go, you go. To use the automotive term, you go balls to the wall. You go 200%, let's fucking go until victory. After, you level your wings, you settle back into your standard, and you make sure you're training and preparing for the next time your name is called. On order, be great absolutely does not mean that once you downshift from a high tempo, you have permission to suck at your job. It means you maintain your version of balance in your mind, body, and soul, so that when it is time to be great, you're ready. You set the example, make balance accessible for everyone you work with, and then, on order, you can apply a little bit of Kanye. There are two great books to read about balance. One is The Lies of the Stoics, and the second is Make Your Bed by Admiral McRaven. Side note, self-awareness. Self-awareness is the core theme of Navy enlisted training. It's why we take personality tests, learn about the Johari window, and use midterm counseling sessions as tools. Too often, though, our colleagues will decouple themselves from the self-awareness concept because they conflate self-awareness with caring about what everyone says, or worse, caring about what they think everyone says or thinks about them. These are not the same. Let's say you are at a gym exercising and there is dead space in between songs in your headphones. You overhear another gym patron tell their associate they think you are grossly out of shape and the shorts you are wearing were a very poor decision. You getting offended by this and leaving the gym is not self-awareness. It is you caring about the opinion of someone you don't even know. If you don't know them or their credentials, why would anything they say concern you? Self-awareness is what got you to the gym. You took a look at yourself, you identified your health as an area for improvement, and you took action. That is being self-aware. When people say whatever you hear them say, then it becomes a cause of giving a damn about what they're saying. Let it die. I have always relied heavily on my fellow chiefs to ping me when I am off. I don't have it in me to be great every day, and I don't try. I am not bubbly. I allow my face to convey boredom when the XO speaks sometimes. Even more concerning is that my favorite brand of humor is sarcasm, which does not translate well to the masses. In CMC school, the coach told me I can be difficult to work with if my ideas don't receive what I think is the appropriate amount of traction. Therefore, when a colleague asks me if I'm okay, I value that. The higher up you go in the ranks, the lonelier it becomes. It also becomes harder to find honest feedback. The better we look out for each other and help each other be self-aware, the more we allow ourselves to be honest and open communicators. And that is how we all become more self-aware.